Good afternoon. The Finance Committee of the Forest Preserve District of Cook County will come to order. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Chairman, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Any changes to the agenda, Madam Secretary?
We do have a correction, sir. The revenue report is dated November 2010, and it should be corrected to February 2011.
So noted. Any members have any changes? There being none, the chair recognizes Vice Chairman Steele.
Full approval of all disbursements on 11668 through 11675.
Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Murphy. Any discussion?
Sorry, Mr. Secretary, correction that the last item should be 11682 on page 3.
So noted. Second by Commissioner Murphy. Commissioner Gorman.
I have a question on contract number 11673 on page 2, Schaefer Consulting. It's in regards to a stormwater management policy that's being worked on, and with it being at a standstill, I'm just curious, what is being done, if this is going to be like a monthly payment. I know that we do have a contract with them, but what's been done on this plan? Because I know that EPA and NACO are working on a federal policy right now, stormwater management plan. So, and I know that we'll probably concur with something along the federal lines as opposed to making our own one up. So, anybody can address that?
Could I have Dave Kircher please step to the mic?
Dave Kircher, Chief Landscape Architect. This bill represents review of a particular project that was being considered that had a stormwater component to it.
So it's costs that much money to review a component?
Yes, that was the work that was completed related to that review.
All right. Can you send me then the itemized bill that we're paying on that for this contract this far then?
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the motion carries. Vice Chairman Steele.
Move approval of the legal matters, pages 4 to 6.
Yeah, there you go. Sorry about that. Any other discussion? There being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Revenue report, Vice Chairman Steele.
Move to receive and file the revenue report.
Sorry. Second by Commissioner Murphy. Any discussion? Commissioner Sufferman.
Could I ask the General Superintendent or whoever you would want to just comment on the revenue report since you've just gotten in the last month a chance to get a handle on our finances, and are there anything that jump out at you as outliers, or are there any other issues, or maybe Mr. Kemp could comment?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. I'll ask the CFO, Mr. Kemp, to comment.
Marlo Kemp, Chief Financial Officer. Commissioner, the one thing outstanding that did transpire is we did not receive our second property tax payment until mid-December. The bulk of that money, we received $11 million or thereabouts of that payment by the 31st of December. However, since that time frame, we have had an additional $4 million that came into the Forest Reserve coffers. And as a result, although as of December 31st, we show about $43.8 million in revenues versus $46 million in expenses, the audit report will show that our revenues have exceeded expenses by roughly $1.5 million.
Well, and because we're a non-home rule unit of government, the delay in making the real estate payments does have an effect on our cash flow, doesn't it?
It does have an effect on our cash flow. We do have sufficient fund balance reserves to mitigate that effect. And so it's really more of a timing issue in terms of these funds. What will happen, though, is all of the funds that we receive prior to the first installment next year will be credited to the 2010 receipts for audit purposes.
Well, this morning in the budget hearings at the county, pushing the assessor and the board of review and the treasurer's office to get tax bills out on time will benefit us at the Forest Preserve, because if we could get this money in the cycle, we should get it in October, we'd be in much better position in cash flow and in our cash reserves.
Well, yes, that is correct. Obviously, the sooner we get it, I think it'll make this report look better in terms of having the money sooner. I mean, for the district's purposes, we have sufficient reserves to ensure that the interruption of cash flow does not impact operations. However, it's always beneficial to ensure that we get the money within the same fiscal year. Yes.
Mr. Kemp, on the pool fees, we received a report from the Inspector General that there had been some employees who had tampered with our collection of pool fees and had stolen some of those pool fees. Have we instituted better cash management at those pools for the future to make sure that this will not happen again?
As a matter of fact, what we have intended to do is prior to the next pool season, we will have a point-of-sale cash system installed at the pools that will capture the cash receipts the moment they are entered into the cash register. Up until this time, we had been relying on a count of the pool monies, and once we got the count from the Armored Car Service and tallied that up and compared that with what we received from the pools themselves, that was what kind of counted for the monies received. So right now, what we're doing is actually capturing that at the time the sale is made, and that should mitigate those concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Collins.
And I guess I could have asked this on the budget review, but in terms of your overall litigation costs for last year attributed to your budget, are you projecting how much increase, if any, are you projecting costs for litigation in the 11 budget?
Are you referring to the legal department?
Yeah.
Most of our litigation costs are handled by our self-insurance fund, with there being a small moderate amount handled within the legal department itself. I believe we have roughly $50,000, and I don't have the book in front of me, but I believe we have $50,000 allocated for kind of the incidental legal services that are handled directly out of the legal department's budget, but the bulk of that is handled through the self-insurance fund.
Okay, what's the cost and size of your litigation, your legal department that handles these funds?
Well, the size of our legal department itself is
budget.
14. The budget is, I believe, roughly $1.5 million.
Okay, and then I'll look in comparison to ours. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Daley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In reference to the pool fees, or the investigation, I should say, do you have any concern in other areas where fees are collected?
Well,
and what are we doing to make sure, are you instituting any other?
Yes, well, that point of sale system that I referred to earlier is actually going to be put in effect wherever we collect cash. So that means that we will know right away exactly how much money we should have. So that we believe will mitigate that for every area where there's cash transactions.
Thank you.
Any other questions? The question is, shall the revenue report be received and filed? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, motion carries. Movement by second. All those. The question is, shall the meeting be adjourned? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Opinion of the chair, motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.